Welcome back to Real Estate 101. Today we're going to continue our discussion on auto insurance and talk a little bit about the claims process and some useful tools that you can use. And I'm pleased to be joined once again by Robert Atto of Atto Associates. Robert, welcome back to the show.
Joe, thanks for having me back again today.
Okay, Rob, so what's the first thing somebody should do as soon as they get into a car accident?
Well, the first thing you should do is really assess the situation. Make sure that either you or your passenger or anybody else in the other car is not injured. If there is any serious injuries, the first thing you should do is call the police and make sure you get an ambulance there to take care of that person. Don't worry about the other information you need. Just get a hold of the police and make sure you're well.
Okay, so let's say the accident is minor in nature and there are no serious injuries. What next?
Well, the first thing you should do is probably get out of the car after you ascertain there's no serious injuries to anybody, and take out your cell phone, and most cell phones nowadays have a camera, and start taking pictures of the scene before you move the car. Once you've taken these pictures, it's probably best to try to move off the road into a safety so to prevent any further damage from yourself or to your car from happening, assuming your car is obviously drivable. Once you get that information and you pulled over to the side of the road, you should make sure to get the full name and driver's license of the other driver. Make sure you get all the name of anybody else that might happen to be in the car. Make sure, just so you remember, to note down anybody else who was in your car and any injuries at all. That they may say, oh, I have a sore leg or I have a sore arm. So this is all very important, and also it's very important to know to never admit that you're liable, because you really don't know at the time. So many things are going on. I mean, was it your fault? Did they cut in from the side of the road? Just take down the information, take as many pictures as possible, and pull over to the side of the road, and so you can just think about what you should do next.
Okay, so once you've gathered all this information, insurance, driver's license, you've taken pictures, maybe there's a police officer on site, obviously. What do you do with all this information?
Okay, well, I guess the first thing you should do once you have this information, I guess if there's a police officer on site, you really don't have to worry, because one of your responsibilities, especially if the accident is over $1,000, and that really means to both parties, just not to your car, is your responsibility to go to a reporting center. Once again, we do have a claims app, and I'll show you how to get it later, and what this will do is actually, it'll take your location from your cell phone and it'll point you out to the nearest reporting station. So once you have that, all that information, it's your responsibility to take it to the police, give them all the information. The photos will help you remember the scene, so if you have that, you can pull that up on your phone too. Once you have this information, you can then consider again where you want to go from there. How much damage is there to my car? What should I do now?
All right, so once the claim has been reported to police, either to a police officer on site or through one of these claims reporting centers, what do you do next?
Well, the next thing a lot of people wonder is, of course, well, should I put in the claim? There's only a small scratch on my car and there may be no damage to the other car. Maybe you discussed with the other party, maybe you should just get our cars fixed because there was no injuries and there was no other reason other than small damage to maybe report it to the insurance company. You might want to know, well, where do I go? Which shop should I go to? Here again, if with our claims app, it'll show you the closest body shop for that insurance company. It's important to note that if you go there, at least you'll know once you proceed with the claim, the information will already be there and your claim will move that much smoother. And at that time, you get an idea, of course, how much damage is there, do I need to report it? You can talk over with the other party that was involved and see if they want to proceed or if you feel better putting it through the insurance company at that time.
Okay, so let's say you decide to put the claim through your insurance company. What should you expect when you put this claim through your insurance company?
Well, the first thing the insurance company is going to go through is all the information you just collected, including maybe any additional witnesses that you might have. And they're going to put you to one of their preferred shops, as we discussed earlier, to get a look at your car and see how much damage and to make sure that the car is repairable. The other thing they should be doing at that time, if you have rental vehicle coverage on your policy, is putting you into a rental vehicle. Be careful that when you're getting a rental vehicle and you go pick it up, to make sure to tell them this is a replacement vehicle for a vehicle is already insured. Otherwise, they'll charge you more insurance on top again. At that time, they'll also go through any injuries you have, and they'll actually assign an accident benefits adjuster if you do have injuries, just to go through your coverage and make you aware of what's available there to get you back whatever treatments might be required to get you back in the shape you were, prior to the loss. At this time, you should also make sure to just ask any questions that you may not be comfortable with. How long is it going to take? A lot of these questions they may not be able to answer because until the shop has a chance to look at the vehicle. But make sure you ask them any questions when you have them on the phone, and you'll feel a lot better prepared. You won't feel so frustrated what's going on, why they haven't got back to me. But normally the process is pretty quick with most insurance companies. They want to get you in, get your vehicle repaired, and get you out of that rental vehicle.
Okay, so let's say your insurance company tells you that your car is a total loss. How does someone find out that they're getting, true market value for their car?
Well, here's the thing a lot of people are always saying, because a lot of the cars you have 3, 4, 5 years, as we know on previous discussions about insurance. On your newer cars, you normally have what's called like a guaranteed replacement cost. So if your car is less than 2 years old, the company will actually guarantee the original purchase price of the vehicle. But once the vehicle starts to get 4 or 5 years old, it starts to become, well, how much is my car worth? What I suggest to people is the first thing they do is to go into an auto trader and type in their car and look and to see if that car has the same type of options as their car does. And remember that when you're looking at these different cars and you're averaging the value, to remember that this is an asking price by somebody, not the actual price. Not the actual sale price. As a negotiation as anything else. But at least that time when the insurance company comes and says, listen, we've looked at your car and we feel this is the value, you feel better about it at that time. And it's always better to be prepared and have something to say to the company. Well, what about this car? This car is worth this. Why isn't my car worth that? So it'll make you feel more comfortable with the claims process. You'll know that you're being treated fairly, and you'll have a lot more claim satisfaction at the end.
Okay, so how does the claim affect someone's rates?
Well, here's the thing you really should speak to your adjuster about, because we were talking about at the beginning. I said never admit fault when you're in an accident, because you just don't know. There's so many variables in a parking lot. I mean, everybody's technically at fault. So, and you end up paying a portion of your deductible. So depending whether you're held legally liable for the claim would depend how your insurance policy might be affected by a claim. So normally if you're held at fault, an example of an at fault claim would be maybe you're rear-ended somebody, that your policy could go up, depending on the insurance company, 20 or 25%. Hopefully you've purchased a claims waiver endorsement, which will waive the first claim. These are things some people consider also when they're getting whether they should put in the claim. What will happen to my rates? These are things I suggest you call your broker and discuss before maybe you put through the claim, and that way you can really consider, see, well, do I have this coverage on my policy? What will happen again if I have another claim, which may be important, because a lot of companies, after you have your second at-fault claim, will actually no longer insure you in the regular market, and now you're in the high risk, paying 2 or 3 times the amount you were before. And simply, it's too late to withdraw a $200 claim after that. So these are things you really, if you're thinking about it all, call your broker. We'll review it, and obviously, importantly, if there's any injury, you just don't have a choice. You have to report that claim. Because you don't know how the extent of somebody's injuries, whether they say it's only minor or not. That's a personal risk you just cannot take.
All right, Rob, so you talked about the app. How can people get it, and what does it do?
Well, this app is available for any Android, iPhone, or BlackBerry phone. In order to download to your phone, you can simply go to our website at attoinsurance.com. It'll give you instructions on how you can download it to your cellular phone. What this app does is basically go through this claims process I went with you, but it goes through step by step, so you don't need to panic. It'll tell you what to do by each step. It'll allow you to actually take the pictures of the photograph. It'll incorporate it with the claims process, and once you're finished reporting it, you actually just push submit, and the claim will go right to us at which time we can immediately report it to your insurance company and take care of you. The other couple of things it does, which is really kind of neat, is that it'll identify your location. So again, it'll tell you where's the closest reporting station, because most of the time when you get into an accident, it's not going to be somewhere where you know where that is.
Right.
So immediately it'll tell you it's 2 blocks this way, and it'll tell you how to get there, and you can flip it on MapQuest and you can be there in 5 minutes rather than spending hours trying to look for it or trying to let maybe the tow truck vehicle try to figure out where's it this time. The other thing it does, as I said before, it'll point you to the nearest shop, so you can immediately bring your car there, and they'll take all the pictures and reports that's needed to send up to the insurance company. So by the time you've reported the claim, we sent it up, the insurance company's already aware of the damages, and the claims process will just run that much smoother. You probably knock a day or two and get your car back a lot quicker, and you'll feel so much better about the entire process. It's just something that really helps you through. I mean, the worst thing that happens when you're a claim, you don't know what's happening, you're stressed out, what do I do? And believe me, what happens more often than not is just people forget to get information at all. And if you don't get any information, what's going to happen all the time is you're not going to be able to, the insurance company's not going to be able to get any information for the other company. You're going to end up paying for the deductible.
There's delays.
There's delays, and it's just something. This reminds you all the process. The more information you get at the time, the more beneficial it's going to be, both to defend you, especially when you're not at fault, against any actions or from possibly injuries that may result later. So it's important. This will just help you through the process. It's so difficult to remember when you get into an accident. So this is something we really believe that all our clients should really download, and it'll greatly benefit them in the long run.
All right, Rob, so any last tips for anybody that may be going through a claim right now?
Well, the first thing that you do, obviously, if you get into an accident on the way home, the first most important thing to do is not panic. Just sit back, take 10 quick breaths, assess the scene and see what needs to be done. Think about what needs to be done. Most importantly, of course, if you're injured at all, make sure you call 911. Don't hesitate saying, I'll go to the doctor later, because you just don't know if you're hurt. It's important to seek medical attention as soon as possible. All
right, Rob, I want to thank you for coming on today's show, and look forward to seeing you again next month.
Thanks for having me back, Joe.
For more information on the claims process or to download the Atto Claims app, check out attoinsurance.com. I'm your host, Joe Terceira. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.